Hello folks, this is Johnny again and welcome to my first mix challenge video. In this one I'm going to mix the song Stampede from our album Inspiring Nightmare. You'll find a link to that album in the description below. And in this one I'm going to challenge myself by only using stock plugins from Studio One version 3 Artist. This stock came with my new PreSonus interface and I thought this might be also a good opportunity to get more into this new version from Studio One. I still don't like the look of this thing at all. Version 2 is so much more easier to look at in my opinion. But whatever. If you like, you can also download these tracks. I put a download link to those in the description as well. So just go ahead and do whatever you like with it. One thing I have to apologize about, the tempo map. Look at this here, it's quite a mess. At that time when I was making the album, I thought, I kind of want to mess with the tempo a little bit to make it a little bit looser so it's not always so static and to get a bit more dynamics in there and whatnot. Now the problem with Studio One is version 2 as well as version 3. It doesn't include the tempo map correctly into an audio file. So I had to add a text file to the tracks that has all the changes written in it. So you're gonna have to do those manually in your project. Sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it right now. And now let's go into mixing this stuff. Let's listen to the raw tracks for now. Yeah, it all sounds decent. Like, I guess it can definitely work with it. For this first part of this, for this song, mixing this song, I just want to get a rough mix down. So just some EQ and compression. So where's the equalizer here? Pro EQ. You know what? Let's get that onto all the tracks here. As you can see, I already buzzed and panned some stuff, but nothing else. This is really just from the very get-go, nothing else is happening. You know what, let's mute the vocals for now. Rough mix for me means just drums, bass, rhythm guitars, and perhaps the rest just a little bit, some very, very rough stuff. And also the vocals don't need a lot of EQing, so that's not gonna be a problem later on. So let's get into the overheads. Just some very quick stuff to begin with. I already know overheads need filtering. Yeah, let's filter it quite drastically to about 1K because there's a lot of mid-range going on in the whole mix, so we need to filter out a lot of that muddy low mid-range. Now the room mics. I don't want to filter out too much, so there's still enough ambience also for the kick happening. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let's go into the kick. I just want to get some very basic stuff here happening in the beginning. Now, snare, let's solo that. Okay. Now rhythm guitars. We're gonna need quite some EQing. Let's get this part in here. Wow, I can't, what in the world was I thinking? Those are so nasally and quacky, those tones. It's, I don't like it. Okay, now let's check out the bass. Well, just right off the bat, I kind of want to filter everything below that. About 70 Hertz. Yeah, and then boost that gnarly mid-range up here. Okay, and now I already want to go into compression. Where's the compressor in here? Take down the knee because I wanted to really smack, take away the look ahead so the transients are left through more thoroughly. Slow attack, let's say 50 milliseconds. Faster release, also about 50 milliseconds. Not too much, just for a little bit of tightening up, nothing more. Okay, now about the same thing here in the snare. Perhaps a little bit faster attack. that's too much. Yeah, just for a little bit of tightening, nothing more. The rest comes with parallel compression. And let's look up at the overheads and room mics. Usually I start off with a limiter to limit the peaks from the snare and the kick bleeding in there, and also the toms. Now let's see if I can work with this thing, because I really do not like the limiter of Studio One. How does this thing even work? Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. Now again a compressor, but with mild settings. Quicker attack, a slower release. Okay, not too much, not too much. And the room mics. You know what, instead of the limiter, why don't I just use the compressor at extreme settings? Because this is much easier to monitor. But I guess for the room mics, I don't really want to limit the peaks, but I really want to smack it down to get a very powerful sound out of them. But then after that kind of compressor, I want to put a limiter on there. Yeah, something around those lines. Let's do the same with the overhead here. Instead of this limiter, let's put this kind of limiter in here. Okay, just to make you understand what I'm doing here, I use one compressor with limiting settings to limit the peaks of the snare bleeding into the overheads, And then with the second compressor, I basically smoothen out the dynamics of the overheads. So no one cymbal is poking out too much, or when you have multiple cymbals hitting at the same time, that it doesn't get too loud. So there's just a little bit of controlling. On the room, I did it the other way around. I first used the compressor that really smacks it down and gives it a very pumping and powerful sound. And this is to add some more power to the whole drum mix. And then after this one, I used the limiting compressor to catch the peaks. And I'm doing all that after the broad EQ moves. That's how I usually go about it these days. And then whatever I want to do, I do after the compression. Already sounds better, right? Now I hear a lot of annoying ringing sounds in the overheads. Let's check that out. Okay, now let's look for a part that has predominantly the other crash in it. Okay, there's still something very annoying going on here in that upper range. Oh, stop it. Okay, I guess we're getting close to finishing our rough mix. Let me switch to my headphones real quick, and I want to check the low end because I want to get that right pretty early on. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna take out the low end processing before the EQ on the kick, and instead, where is it? I'm gonna boost the volume end on the kick after the compressor. Let's compare it with the other way around. Yep. Boosting the low end after the compressor works better here, because boosting it before the compressor will make the compressor act on that low end too much, and it tightens it up too much, so it doesn't really come out the way I want it to. The bass kind of doesn't need a low end boost here too. It just sits where it should right off the bat. Okay, let me give the other tracks in here just some filtering. So let's check out these layer tracks. Hang on. Gotta switch to my monitors again for this one. I usually just use the headphones for low ends, but nothing else really. Okay, you know what? I think we can leave it at that for our basic first rough mix. So all we did here now was EQ and compression, nothing else. So far, I must say the stock plugins do their job. That's about all I can say so far. I'm gonna have to go on a little bit further, see how it goes and how it will actually sound in the end. Well, then next episode we will get into some more detailed stuff, some reverb, parallel processing on the drums, and I'll start working on the vocals. Until then, have a good one.